What's up, everybody? Trip Morgan here for Panthersource.com, and I'm joined by my main man, the professor from CarolinaCatChronicles.com. What's up, Tony?
Hey, man. Glad to be here. 2-0. Panthers 2-0.
Not the prettiest 2-0, but it is 2-0 nonetheless,
hey,
correct?
I will take that. You know, the Panthers are we've been 2-0 6 times in our history as a team prior to this. This makes the 7th. We've made the playoffs 5 out of 6 times. So I would love for that to be 6 out of 7 times, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And
you actually get it.
You actually just posted an article about that on your website, correct?
Yeah. I mean, and that's, sure, it's early.
Yeah.
You know, what can you say? But, just
2-0 is better than 0-2.
We've only made the playoffs one time where we haven't started 2-0.
Right. It's always,
Twice. It was 2013 and 2005. 2005, we started 1-1, 2005, and 0-2 in 2013, and reeled off 12-4. But look, you got to win the games now.
Yep.
You know, there's no sense in making it hard on yourself.
Absolutely. And even if they're close, they're ugly to start with. It doesn't matter. Let's just get it done. We got a lot to talk about, some good and some bads. But y'all be sure to like, comment if you want to join the discussion. The phone number is up in the post above. So you can join us by doing that. If you want to call in, if you just want to comment, that's fine too. We'll take it either way. We're going to be glad to interact with y'all. This show is brought to you by Etched by B. You can find his link right here. Laser engraving, all kinds of stuff. It does all kinds of gifts and whatnot. So be sure to check him out. EtchedbyB.com is also up and running now, so you can check him out there. And I think we're going to jump right into it here. And I think one of the biggest takeaways most people might say is probably the defense, keeping the game alive really for the offense after. The offense started off great. Not great. That might be a little bit strong to start off with. The pressure was there. Cam was scrambling, keeping the offensive line alive and making them look decent early. And then Cam started to get dialed in with his throws after missing some early and making some ill-advised passes. And then he moves on, starts hitting some people. He makes some scrambles that look good. But when it came to the red zone, there was some strange play calling, in my opinion. And then on top of it, they just couldn't convert, and we stuck with field goals. But the defense was there the entire game. And I think we knew that coming into the season. I think we knew the defense was going to help carry this offense. That was we've talked about it, and we said it last week, and we'll continue to say it. Maybe, hopefully not too much longer, but the offense was going to struggle with Cam with limited time a little bit. And he looked dialed in on passes today. And then when they got in the red zone, it was like it was run. And that's something we struggled with.
I think this is Carolina football, though. I think this is what we've come to expect is that our team, we like to win with a strong defense. And when the offense is there, we get excited. Like you said, and I know that the score can make us sad that our offense isn't just clicking. But Cam Newton looked good in the first half. He looked good when he had protection, which he does, and there was a design run in there for Cam Newton or two. Which I think signals something about how they feel about him and his health. There was a design run last week when it came to Cam Newton. So I think that's a good sign when it comes to Cam Newton's shoulder and what they believe in that. Look, this was going to be a defensive battle. We should have known that we all knew that was coming.
Completely agree.
Sean McDermott's team is going to be a well-coached team on defense. But you're right. Look, we settled for field goals when we should have gotten touchdowns. This game could have easily been, say, 17-3 game.
Yep.
But we eked it out. But I am happy we started 2-0. But look, this goes back 2014. This is 2014 where we settled for field goals rather than getting in the end zone. 2015, that was the difference.
Exactly.
We got down in here, we would have scored 2 touchdowns.
And Cam, in 2015, we've referenced this too. Cam had the time in the pocket. And at times, he had it today. And when he did, I felt like he was delivering when he had the time. And we were on Twitter talking about this, and I said it from the get-go. Even when Cam was scrambling, he got up, did his dab and first down, that was fun to see again.
It was.
But I was saying it then, like Cam was making that offensive line look better than it was the first quarter, because the first quarter the pressures were there. The run game was pretty much shut. I mean, in reality, it was really shut down the entire game. In the first quarter, it was certainly shut down. And then Cam saved them a couple times.
The entire game. Other than Stewart just like
carrying
being
people.
A man.
Right.
But if you think about, if you look at the stats, I think I want to see this, is that Stewart had
40 yards.
40
yards on 15 carries.
Cam Newton's our second leading rusher with 27 yards.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey had 10 yards on 8 attempts.
Yep.
We couldn't run the ball.
Nope.
And this has been 2 weeks in a row, really. You know, is that
they were able to ground it out in San Francisco on an 8-minute drive, which was great to see.
Last quarter, that was the difference.
And that was following a Reuben Foster injury, who was a big part of shutting the run game down early in that first quarter, and he disappeared. But it's disappointing to see right now.
We haven't just been steamrolling teams on the ground.
And it's like you said earlier, I predicted I think my final score prediction was 17-7. A late touchdown by the Panthers would put it away, but it was going to be a defensive game, and it was definitely a defensive game. The late score was a field goal, but it didn't put it away. It just cut it to, made it up to 6. So, and then McCaffrey, every time he got the ball, it seemed like he'd go up to run, and there was nothing there. Same thing with Stewart, but Stewart's just a hoss. I mean, he gets up there and he runs through people, and he can carry somebody.
McCaffrey did not look particularly comfortable today in the run game.
Right.
But there was also we didn't give them good opportunities to run the ball either. Which I think this is that the Panthers offense, if they would have scored, if they would have been a little cleaner earlier on, we wouldn't be talking about it at all. Is that you had that Russell Shepard almost touchdown, which was a great defensive play. You had KB
almost
in the end zone who got his ribs broke. And I know y'all making fun of me on Twitter about this, like saying you got ahead of that. No, I said it looks like he could have had. But the point is this. He took a dang helmet right up under his armpit.
Yeah.
That hurt everybody
and
watching.
He clearly felt it the rest of the game. And I see some people in the comments talking about it. Greg Olsen, how long he's going to miss has not been released. But, yes, he has a broken foot.
A broken foot? My man's done. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's 8 weeks.
That's
8 weeks.
That's
a broken
not
foot
what
is
you
8
want.
weeks.
It's not what you want to hear as a Panthers fan for sure. And the worst
and
part about it is it was
your foot? What did he
it was
do?
A non-contact injury.
He
was
broke
the worst
his foot
part.
from being old.
Well, see, look,
I'm sorry.
and I'm gonna hit on it. I'm gonna hit on this for 1 second, and I'll leave it be. And I've talked about this in the off season when all this stuff got brought up about Olsen getting a contract. Yes, he outperformed his contract, but at his age and with 2 years left, I was on the side of not extending him because of not that he is going to be more injury prone now because he's old, but he could, if you sit there and pay him top contract, he could come out, get a broken foot or something like this, and then bam, you're stuck in
He shouldn't have signed his old contract. He should not have signed his old contract if it was a problem.
I agree, and he got the incentive deals, and I thought that was a great job by Marty Murray.
That was nice. That was a team thing. But going back is that Dave Gettleman would have told all these dudes to shove it. And probably rightfully so in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, and, Gettleman was apparently talking with him and Davis both about restructures and stuff like this. Davis ended up getting his. The framework was already there, as we know. And then Olsen ended up getting an incentive-based deal, which I thought was completely fair for this year. If he produced the incentives, then you can talk about maybe restructuring them next year, getting him to a new contract. But now he's out with a broken foot, and that was good money he could have made this year. But now he probably won't if he's going to miss considerable amount of time.
Since we are where we are, let's talk about where we go from here. Greg Olsen hurt, right?
Yep.
He's going to miss a month at the very minimum. I think that's an 8-week injury if it's a break.
Yeah.
It's a 6 to 8 week thing. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm just guessing. But when you say broke,
and it says something that Greg Olsen came out and said this. It's not like he said, "Yeah, I'm going to see what the X-rays say."
Yeah. It's broke, right? It's broke. But so we got that. Then, so where is this offense at, right? Cam Newton tweaks his ankle. Tweaks his ankle today. No problem though. I think Cam comes out Warrior Cam. I think we got to ask this is today, look at this. Ryan Khalil, we woke up with a old man neck.
Yep.
and a shoulder, which he did have surgery on this past year. So you got that, and then Matt Khalil. I saw one guy on Twitter say this, is what we learned today is when Ryan Khalil doesn't play, neither does Matt Khalil. And I thought that was funny.
That is because
he got burned a couple of times today.
Matt
Poor
Khalil,
guy struggled against the speed rush.
Matt Khalil gave up 7 pressures compared to the rest of the team's 3. Now, on that stat, I will also say Darrell Williams had a rough game and a lot of at least 2 that I can remember holding calls on the right tackle side. So there's no telling what would have been there.
That first one was BS. That was not a hold.
It was a little ticky-tack.
They threw a flag on nothing.
But
the line didn't look good.
The line looked bad from start to finish. The line looked bad.
They didn't play well.
And Cam saved them early, and later in the game, there was no hope for him. He just didn't have time.
When you can't run the ball, that tells you something about the line, right? And then when your quarterback, I think 3 sacks going into halftime. 6 sacks on the day, maybe, or something to that effect.
Yeah,
I mean, they got after Cam. So you were playing with a backup starter. We saw this last year. What happens when you don't have Ryan Khalil? We need Matt Khalil to be better. He's been okay, and then you're already hearing people talking about Taylor Moton. I don't know. We'll see. I think this is that I expected the Bills' defense to be coming after Cam.
You got Sean McDermott, who knows how this offense is ran. He somewhat knows how this defense is ran because Steve Wilkes, he still keeps he's going to keep a little bit of that McDermott defense there.
They blitzed Cam a lot today.
Right, and it was through the A gaps, which was something that the Panthers aren't unfamiliar with. Coming from McDermott's defense, they've been practicing this for years.
Center like that, but you attack a backup center when you do that.
Right,
when you come in when you send the linebackers.
It was the bluff plays on the blitz where they would show blitz and then back off, and the tackles were letting people roll. They were just letting them roll right on through.
They're getting beat by speed, man. And look, Matt Khalil last week got beat by a little guy. He was only like 5'9" or something like that, speed on the outside. And today he got beat on the outside. Guy's hands on him on that first sack. He pushed him, and then he just kept going. But then the spin move, we're gonna need Matt Khalil to get better. That's what we're gonna need.
And while we're on the offense, before we shift over to the defensive side, I want to go back to the red zone play calling. And in my opinion, I was not impressed with a lot of it. I felt like Cam was dialed in, driving on a couple of drives, at least two for sure that I know of, where he was dialed in, he was driving down, passing the ball, big chunk plays. We get near or in the red zone, and all of a sudden it's you run Jonathan Stewart. I don't think this play was in the red zone, but you run Jonathan Stewart to the outside on a 2nd and 1 on a stretch play all the way to the outside when you could have either 1, ran a play action and took a shot, or 2, just run him up the middle, get the first down. So he loses 2 on the stretch. Then you come back with McCaffrey on a 3rd and 3 and run him up the middle. And I've been a big advocate of McCaffrey running between the tackles, and that's fine. But this Bills defense up to this point had absolutely shut down the Panthers' run game, and I just didn't understand it. When Newton had been taking apart the cornerback and the secondaries of the Bills' defense, it seemed like Shula at the biggest times went away from what had been working, and then he took the shot with Kelvin Benjamin. That was a hard shot, I get it.
Yeah,
but
that was a deep shot, too.
The pass was there, should have been a touchdown. Then he took a shot at Shepard, was a great play by a Bills defender. You can't just give up after this,
It was a tough throw, too.
Yeah, but they were
I
both
think that
the throws
says a lot
were there.
about Cam Newton's shoulder strength, too.
Yeah.
Is that he zipped that in there.
We
always wonder this, is why the hell, when we get on the 3, we don't throw the fade? I just want to know that. Why, when you've got 2 guys that are 6'5", 6'6", that you ain't sending 2 of those giant men to the corner and throwing the fade? We've never thrown the fade to Kelvin Benjamin. I don't know if Cam Newton can't throw it, if they just don't like it. So I don't know how to question those play calls other than that. It's like we could have gone past. But, look, even when we did go past, Cam tries to go in the kind of middle of the end zone. You'd like to see them work the outsides a little bit more near the pylons. At least I would. I don't know. But I'm also not an offensive guru. So, we weren't running the ball, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. And, last week a lot of people were talking about how we force-fed McCaffrey
Well, we
the whole
didn't
game,
force him
and
today.
we did not force him today. He had 4 catches, one of which
They were all over him.
4
today.
catches for 34 yards, one of which was he just went up and got.
Yeah,
it was impressive.
Went up. Like you said, he got big.
Right,
McCaffrey
and then,
got big. I do want to point out this is that while McCaffrey has not had particularly a great stat line when it comes to what you want from him, one place he really has shown himself as playing well is on third down.
Yeah,
he had a big third down run going into in San Francisco, closing out the first half that led to a field goal that put us ahead. He had a big third down run in the fourth quarter on that same drive that ground out the clock. And today he had a big, I think it was a third down catch today.
Yep.
That really made a difference. And so while, sure, we want to see him get 200 yards, we want to see him this and that and have look, he could have had his first touchdown, Cam.
Yeah, Cam overthrew him.
Missed him on that.
The late touchdown.
And that would have put
the game away. Exactly.
Done.
Like
Done.
I was yep.
But that's typical. This is, folks, this is the cardiac cats. This is what we're used to. And this I felt entirely comfortable. I said, we got this.
Yep.
Because this is what we do. We let teams hang around and give them so that you, Panther fans, have a heart attack towards the end of the game.
Right, and, even if McCaffrey didn't have big stat lines, one of the biggest things with him is he's going to be such a distraction for defenses. Because, look, if going forward, if defenses stop game planning for him, that's when he could possibly go off and just rip it off. I mean, he could just jump up and go, I mean, yeah. I think that's one of the big parts with McCaffrey being up here. But let's shift things to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the defense was absolutely just shut down LaShawn McCoy in that rushing game that was the Bills. And, moving forward, I think outside of Tyrod Taylor moving, scrambling, they had nothing to work with.
Good for Tyrod Taylor really hurt us in this game is that he made a lot out of nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And that, look, and I do want to say shout out to Zay Jones. Almost had a beautiful catch at the end. It was a tough catch, and I'm glad you dropped it. I don't count it as a drop because we were hoping that the Panthers win, obviously. But we love Zay because Zay's our guy from ECU. But, you're right. We stopped the run. Look, our defense did exactly what they needed to do.
Yep.
They stopped the run. They put this game on Tyrod Taylor, who did who did play pretty well, I would say, is that he was under duress the entire game. He would get outside the pocket, and he would make some things happen. So I thought that was good on his part. But, look, Julius Peppers, I'm going to say this. I got it in my notes. He can play
Peppers,
5
baby.
more seasons, this guy. 5 more seasons. Julius Peppers is the man. He's up to, 2 sacks on the season?
2.5. Yep.
2.5 on the season. Dude is like as old as, he's like me plus 5 years. It's amazing. The defense, though, was nasty. I thought Darryl Worley played a lot better this week than he did the last week. We didn't hear any problems for the safety. We didn't get burned over top, so that's good. We stopped the run. And look, KK, those guys, look, you mentioned Mario Addison.
Yes.
Yep. And what we need to hear that.
Him and Pepper seem like a really good, on the first 2 weeks, it seems like every time Addison is on a sack, him and Peppers are there at the same time, just sandwiching people.
Yeah.
I mean, I just recall like last week it happened, and I think they both recorded half a sack for that. I can check and double see, but I feel like they're always right there together on it, and they're Peppers. It doesn't seem like he's lost a step at all. 2.5 sacks, had 2 today. Addison was there for another one today. I mean, the defense is there, and if the defense can keep the offense in, the games throughout the first half of the season, like I said last week, I think we'll by halfway of the season we should know what we're working with on this offense, regardless of really what the scheme is. I think Cam's shoulder is fine. I think it's him getting his timing down is going to be the issue, and how the play calling goes with these new weapons. And we've seen a couple of wrinkles. They switched it this week from last week, but that's going to change team to team too.
I think we just got to run the ball better.
Well,
That, to me,
that's
is
always
that
a big.
this,
That's
is
always
that
a
if
big
you
deal.
run the ball better, this team's gonna be fine. The one thing I guess if I wanted to critique the passing game, is that we don't have any real speedsters in there. Taking the top off of the defense. You got Kelvin Benjamin going downfield. He's not the fastest. He's not the fleetest of foot guy. So what I'm saying is that kind of gets you back into what last season's offense was. And the question is, can we make a more explosive offense downfield? But I think that starts with being able to effectively run the ball. And right now we haven't shown we can do that. And I think that says something about the offensive line. It's going back to like what Matt Khalil and these guys is that sometimes I think these guys are better pass blockers than they are run blockers. Going back, what I thought was Michael Orr was like this back in the day. I thought he was a better pass blocker than he was a run blocker. We need to be able to impose our will on a team and not have Cam be it. We just need to power. We haven't seen it yet, to me.
Right, and that's a big thing because last year we all felt like we were like this. Cam's not getting any time to pass the ball. He needs more time, so we go and sign Matt Khalil, hoping he'll give us better time passing the ball. And it's week 2, but until today he had done that, and at times today Cam had plenty of time, and when he did, he was delivering the strikes. I mean, but that's going to be the case with any quarterback in the NFL, though.
You want to create an opportunity for a player to pass the ball. A quarterback is you got to run the ball. Like,
right.
And
is
that
especially
if you're one
with
dimensional
the
either way. Teams can strategize for that. For instance, if you can't pass the ball, they just throw 8 in the box.
Right.
So what you got to have is a balanced offense. We need to see the Panthers more establish a run game, and we need to see them do it in a way that's not just Jonathan Stewart plowing through people. We need to see some bigger holes. That's what I think.
The Bills' defensive line got I can't express
good
enough.
Today.
They looked good, and look, we had to know. We all said this coming into this game. I felt like we had to know it was going to be a defensive game. McDermott is just too familiar with the Panthers' offense. He knows what's going to work and what might not work, and the Panthers just haven't had enough time really before this game to figure out how they're going to fully use and execute McCaffrey, Curtis Samuel, and these new weapons. So we had to know this coming in. And I saw
Samuel once.
Yeah, the whole game, it was the Bills' defensive line was getting some push after not getting one sack against the Jets. They recorded, I think it was 6.
It was
6
close.
today.
It was a ton. I think they had 3 going into the
6
half.
sacks today. Yep,
yeah.
6 sacks. So
I do want to point out this is that they've got Marcel Darius, who is a great defensive tackle, similar to like what we have. We have 2 good defensive tackles. I think that it's underrated how much the push up the middle can do for a defense. Getting strong push up the middle can make those edge defenders who are mediocre look better. And I think that's where the Bills were good today, is that they were able to capitalize on Ryan Khalil being out. I don't necessarily think all the pressure came up the center, but I think that them holding the center very well allowed the guys on the end to go a little bit more pin the ears back.
And it's kind of coincidental, and after Cam was just praising how important it was in his press conference on Wednesday, how important Ryan Khalil was and what it means for Cam Newton when he sees him in the huddle with him on the field. It's a strong reassurance is pretty much what he was saying, and that he is like the glue for Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we have our first injury report, no injuries. We feel good going in, and then
happened?
Everything starts falling apart.
What happened? My man just didn't sleep right.
And I will say this,
and then he can't play.
Being 2-0, and then we play at home next week against the Saints, which has a terrible defense. You have to feel good being 2-0 going into this game at home. Yes.
Hell yeah.
You have to feel good.
Yeah, you got to feel good.
And this could also be an opportunity for the offense to get these things together and get some confidence rolling as you move into going to Boston to play the Patriots in Week 4.
Definitely. I mean, you need to go into as we play the Patriots in Week 4. So you can come in if you're 3-0 and you go into New England. you play with this is what you got to lose.
Yep.
Nothing. I mean, you have one game. You start 3-1. Oh well. I mean, this is what you had to do. You have to win a game. If we would have lost one of these games, that puts a lot more pressure on that Patriots game. But we're in a good spot right now. I'm sorry. Is that, like, we can cry about our offense not being good, about things not clicking. Look, our defense has allowed 6 points in 2 weeks. You know, I'm okay with that. And we've won 2 games in a row, so good for us. That's what I say.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think that, a win's a win. As ugly as it has been,
nobody's going to remember.
Right. If we start
5 weeks, if we didn't score touchdowns instead of kick field goals in this game.
Look, in 2015, I recall us. I mean, we beat the Jaguars, but it wasn't the prettiest offensive game. I think we put up 24 points, and it was. I mean, we won, but against the Jaguars, we were going into that game thinking, man, we should have probably beat these guys a lot bigger. And as the season went on, the offense clicked more and more, and then boom, they exploded towards the end. And I hate comparing teams to 15. I hate comparing our teams to the 2015 season. But that's what we have to compare to our best season.
If this team would have won 27-24, is it any different?
27-24.
Like if we would have won by 3 or 6.
Well, then we're talking about the defense.
Isn't it
being
nice that our defense didn't allow any points,
especially considering,
and then our offense gets down there and had some opportunities that just kind of fell through. Like, I mean, this game could have been. You put 2 touchdowns. This could have been a 17-3 game easy.
Right.
I think. I mean, I'm not worried. I would say anybody who's worried about the Panthers' offense, just chillax. Chillax for this is that, look, this is about as bad as it's going to get. You're going to see Matt Khalil get beat twice a game. That's what happens.
7.
Right?
That's what he was beat today, but hopefully he won't be beat 7 times a game. But I think you're right in a lot of aspects. I think we're 2-0, and I completely agree with this is probably the worst you're going to see it. If the Panthers defense can perform the way they did today, with the offense in the start the second half in the third quarter was really non-existent and was out there nonstop, completely.
Did he get beat 7 times?
7 times, 7 pressures a day off Matt Khalil.
Ouch.
3 for the rest of the team.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So
okay, taking that back a little bit. I'm walking that one back a tad. Walking that one back a tad.
Gonna bring it back, but it's like you said. I think this is possibly the worst we could have seen. Hopefully, I mean. I was thinking the same for ECU, but we're not going to get on that subject.
I mean, it's not the worst we can see, but I think this is that, look, is this what you need? You need a team that wins games when things don't go well. Things did not go well, and we figured out a way to win. I will say that we almost lost it with that Zay Jones catch.
Yes.
Because I know he would have been down, but then that would have set up potentially a Mike Tolbert 1-yard touchdown run at the end, which would have been a dagger, but it didn't happen. Let's take it and let's be happy.
Yep. Let's see here. Let's look at some other stuff. I was just here on the comments. Carlos Cortez, we don't deserve to win that game. Look, guys, our defense held him to 3 points. That is.
They don't deserve to win that game, Carlos. They didn't deserve to win that game.
Exactly.
So we won the game. I don't care who deserves what.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take it regardless of, who deserves what. Even if we had played to that point and we didn't deserve to win, I'm going to take the win, and you should too. But the defense completely shut down the Buffalo Bills outside of Tyrod Taylor's scrambles today. And some late soft coverage from the Panthers defense, which is typical when you're not trying to give up the big play.
You got to be happy with the secondary.
Tony will tell you I was screaming at the TV about the soft coverage late in the game, as I usually do, but I understand you're not trying to give up the big play. I just feel this Panthers defense with the front 7 and the secondary this year can defend that deep play with the pass rush and not give a quarterback that amount of time. But that's also, I saw them rushing 3 guys at one point. So if they're rushing 3, you're going to have to make sure the guys don't get beat deep.
Sure.
That's what you're going to have to play.
Definitely.
So I'm not going to say we didn't deserve to win this game. Mario Addison is a killer. Yeah,
he is. Mario Addison looked a
well.
lot better today.
Yeah.
Than he did last week. So one of the things that when I look at Mario is that we know he can pass rush. You put him in on third down, then my man's going to get after it. The question is on those running downs, how does he do? And it's not like he misses tackles or anything, but this is one of the things for us that are kind of novice, at least I view myself as a novice football fan, just kind of a casual guy that's watching football, is that, like, I think I know what I'm looking at, but sometimes they can do some small things like push a rusher back in towards the linebackers or something like that. A little edge contain, and that I don't necessarily know when watching. So I've been trying to look for those things a little bit more with Mario Addison. And today, you know what, is we saw him play the pass rush very well, which we expect. We expect that. I thought he was good on running downs. And that's what we need. I would really like to see Mario Addison turn into the 3-down type of defensive end. And to me, I think this team is best when we put Peppers on the left, Mario Addison on the right. And then, you know, I mean, I know that we love Charles Johnson. I know he's a Panther, and all of this. But look, Peppers is just better, folks. He's just better.
Yeah. I saw somebody actually made a comment on that. Rob Piercy here in the comments said, does Charles Johnson even exist? And at times,
he
no.
He made some good plays today,
I think Charles Johnson at this point in his career is there for the run game. I don't think he's there for the pass rush.
That's all he is. That is all it is.
Because he's always been, like, in the past, he's been great at both. And I think at this point in his career, he's there for the run game to stop the run. You bring in Peppers on the third down to rush the quarterback and get there.
I'd love to see, look, the way Peppers looks, guys, I know, and I'm a Peppers homer. That's my dude right there. You ain't going to find a bigger Peppers fan than this right here. I'd like to see him out there every dang down. 5 more years, folks. Mud's breaking records.
Looking to get to that third spot.
He's only got 40 more sacks to go.
Yeah, all-time sack.
He's going to do it. At this rate, 5 more years, he might do it. He's going to get 10 sacks this year, man.
I said,
sacks.
Yep. And I said coming in this year, if he can give this defense in a situational role 7.5 sacks like he did for Green Bay last year, that's huge.
But it's going to be huge. 10 right now. I'm telling you, it's awesome.
If he keeps it up, especially going against the banged, like we said this earlier, going against the Saints Saints offense next week, who has a banged up offensive line, who has a bad defense. The offense and defense could both eat, and the game's at home.
They're done.
So
done. I'm gonna be at that game, folks. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna wear my old Peppers jersey. It's all raggle taggle. I'm gonna wear it anyway.
Do it as long as it's not burned like a lot of people do.
No, it's been washed.
And we can speaking of offense, we can hit on Devin Funchess, who had a pretty big day.
Yeah,
4 catches, 68 yards.
Yeah, good for him.
I mean, he was
fun getting it done.
And a few of those came on Cam scrambling, moving outside the pocket, and that's something else I want to hit on is when it wasn't like immediate pressure in his face and pressure would come up and he was holding the ball, Cam looked great moving in the pocket. He'd step up, bounce outside, look downfield, and a couple of times he found Devin Funchess on wide open passes. And, you know, one of the things Rivera said coming into the season was last year after Funchess had his MVP training camp, they felt that they didn't use him right to get him the ball.
Right.
So maybe
I feel like this is what Rivera says about everybody. You know, it's like, we got to get these guys more involved. We got to do this. Of course, we all want you to get more involved.
But there's one ball.
Do it.
Do
it. Just do it. But look, Funchess caught every ball today.
Yep.
Didn't fumble. And did what he was supposed to do. I thought he had a good game. I think he needs to build on this. I want to see Devin Funchess build on this because really what we want to see is that if you look at this, what was it? 6 catches, 77 yards for Benjamin, 4 catches, 68 yards for Funchess. Wouldn't it be nice to see those numbers, both of them cresting about 100? You know, you get 110 from Benjamin, you get 90. Look, Funchess had a good day. Happy with it. But all these guys get better if we can run the ball more. And we did not run the ball effectively, and that hurts us, and that's what we need to do better.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, in week 1, we had 100 yards rushing. Here in week 2, we had 40, 67, 77 yards total rushing.
Yeah, and that's with 27 coming from your quarterback.
The Panthers perfect line for winning football games is at
150
least 100 yards.
Yeah,
at least.
we need to be putting 125 to 150 on the ground.
Yep, and it doesn't have to be from one person. It just has to be separated. Last week was a perfect example. You had Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Stewart combined. And
I thought
Cam
McCaffrey
Newton.
was going to break one today, and not break it to the house necessarily. I thought we were going to see a little bit more McCaffrey. They really got after McCaffrey all day. He did not necessarily have a good game.
No,
and I won't put that on him. I think that we all want to say this guy could do better. And we just couldn't. We didn't open any lanes up.
No.
Sorry. I mean, these guys were getting tackled in the backfield. And then, what was up with that stupid call where Shula called a? Well, first of all, we've run the stupid Wildcat twice.
Yeah. I'm
Don't
not
like that.
I'm not a big fan. That's not the kind of wrinkles I was talking about
Stupid,
when we got McCaffrey.
Dumb.
Yep.
And then the other I think it was a Wildcat pitch to Stewart where he got the penalty.
Yep.
That was
And
dumb.
and you saw he was frustrated
Just
with that play because he
dumb.
got up, spiked it, and that's when we got the unsportsmanlike conduct, delay a game.
Dumb. To me.
Something else. Here we go. Defense. James Bradbury led in tackles with 5. Luke Kuechly with 3. That's got to be a career low. That's got to be a career low.
Actually, okay, so his best one, what about when he blew Tyrod Taylor up?
Yes.
Oh, and we got to talk about this. Kalen Clay is accepting, we're going to be sending him flowers because he is dead.
I believe it was Colin Jones just destroyed.
If that's Colin Jones that did that, I got to give him props because I don't like Colin Jones. But, man, did he just rest in peace. Rest in peace, Kellen Clay. And then the guy got out there, resurrected, and returned another punt. Man, I would have hung it up forever.
Yeah, he was definitely rocking it. Let's looking at the comments here. Keep pounding defense, Jay Spinks. Keep pounding defenses on it. Give Cam and the offense a couple more weeks. Should see improvement next week, but it's timing.
I think
it's
this
coming.
is one thing, is what Jay Spinks is saying here, too, is important, is that, look, defenses are usually ahead of offenses early in the season, right? Is that they take more time to start clicking on all cylinders. What we're really going to be looking at is if Carolina can start getting a little bit better offensive line play, we got to start running the ball. That's going to just take more pressure off the pass game and open up more things that we can do.
Yep, completely agree. Let's see. I was looking at the Luke Kuechly thing. 3 tackles. You see, you got Mario Addison had 1 sack. Peppers had 2. We talked about that. So we had 3 sacks total the full game.
I think one thing that worried me in this game was a little bit is that they were really getting close to Pilardi.
That's a great point.
They were really close to him to where we were nervous a lot of times.
I mean, you just hear you can hear it on TV too, where the crowd just goes, "Oh!"
Yeah,
it's kind of woo.
Yeah, I mean, and that's again offensive line play. I mean, I guess that's how you characterize it. Look, it's not like losing Olsen really hurts us in special teams and blocking. You know what I'm saying?
And while we're talking about special teams, Graham Gano.
Oh, good. No.
Graham Gano won us this game today, folks.
Yeah, but come on. They're all within 30 yards.
I don't care. He missed. I mean, he blew
He's 5
several
for 5
games.
on the season.
He blew several games last year for us. That were
5
field
for
goal
5 or
yes.
6 for 6? How many do we have
Should
today?
be. I think
9?
5. I think 5 for
3.
5 is right. We had
3
3 today.
3? No, he had 3 last week.
Yep.
He's 6 for 6 on the year. Good for Gano. Go Gano.
Yeah. So keep that going, please. It's ridiculous. But so we hit the offense, we hit the defense. Let's look at the Saints game coming up for a minute.
Okay.
And I said, y'all keep discussing in the comments if you have anything on the Saints game. If you saw something today, I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it. We were obviously watching the Panthers game. I'm sure most of you were too. But it looks like the Patriots were kind of handling the Saints defense early in this game. And I think that's something we all expected. I even saw actually recently where they're talking about getting rid of Kenny Vaccaro, or looking to get some feels for him, and as far as a trade and letting him go, which would bring up an even bigger question for them. And like we said earlier, next week at 2-0, the Panthers play them at home. You're going to be there. I think this could be a game where the offense should be able to thrive. If they don't put up at least 14 points in this game, I'm going to be worried. But it could be a game where they build their confidence.
Don't worry about this Panthers offense. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. I think going forward, I really feel like in the next few weeks we're going to see it be fine. But going forward, this could be the game that kickstarts them, gets their confidence rolling. The defense, it's Drew Brees, so you never know what's going to happen against him. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to shut him down, but I feel like they have a banged-up offensive line right now. The pass rush got there to the Bills today. It got to the 49ers. I think it should get to the Saints next week, and we should possibly advance to 3-0.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if we don't, I would be disappointed. Is that, look, the Saints, we wanted to buy into. I am a guy that likes to think that the NFC South is going to be better than it is, right? And I was thinking that the Saints had a good chance going into Minnesota. But last week, the way they looked in Minnesota it's clear what the Saints have are deficiencies in two spots, and those deficiencies you cannot overcome in the NFL. They cannot protect the passer, and they can't rush the passer. So their defensive line sucks. Their offensive line is trash. And I'm sorry, like the Panthers have a good defensive line. You might be able to say our offensive line isn't that great, but look, we got one that is great. This game's going to be I'm saying this is the Panthers win this game. If we don't, I'd be more concerned with us losing against the Saints than I am the Buffalo Bills.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Well, first of all, because and it's a division game too.
Absolutely.
So you can put them down. What you had today is the Bucs look great. You got to win your division games. The Panthers are in a good spot, but you knock your division rivals off. That's what you got to do. We're at home. I think we can do it. I'm not worried about it. Drew Brees can hurt you, but this defense is going to get after him.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Michael Ross here has a question. He said, who is our best option at right tackle? Is there anyone out there better we could bring in? And
well, that's a good point because Darrell Williams had 2 flags today.
Yeah, 2 holding calls.
One which was BS. The first one was not a hold. The second one, okay. But you're getting beat on the left tackle and the right tackle, and there is a rookie sitting back there,
Taylor Moton, who I've been big on since the preseason. He's
a giant.
In the last preseason game, he did show some weaknesses. He got beat a few times, but I'm still, as far as an overall guy in both running and passing, I think he's better overall than Darrell Williams. But then in week 1, Darrell Williams, he was one of the top ranked right tackles by Pro Football Focus for QB pressures. And, I mean, it's hard to argue with that stat. Now, it was against the 49ers, so you can judge that with what you want. And then today he had 2 holding calls, which were bad. And then
one, though, like I'm telling you, throw that first one out, right? Is that, look, you want to say this, is that really the more worrisome stat, 7. 7.
Matt Cleo on the left side. Yeah.
Come on. I didn't think it was that
bad.
But
we don't have another option there.
No, you got 0 option
Nothing.
there.
I mean,
I think you sit tight with Darrell Williams, and I think this is that maybe, if anything, you got to see who can road grade a bit better. I think we're going to be fine. I think you're going to have to learn how to make up for some of this. And maybe Greg Olsen not being in the game, right, is going to give you an advantage there a little bit. It's going to take away from your pass game some, but maybe you just bring in a guy that can be a little more effective because we know that Greg Olsen can't block.
And that's a great intro into our next question because the next one is from Joshua Lassiter. He said, do you think Ed will step up or do we look at free agency? And here's my thing. The Panthers seem content with Ed Dixon. I think that's clear. He's a great blocking tight end. He can catch the ball. Cam's missed him twice in 2 weeks.
He's a good player. I think he's a good player.
But the Panthers
Where's Gary Barnidge at?
No.
Come on, Gary Barnidge, baby.
The Panthers just picked up rookie Bucky Hodges out of Virginia Tech, who was drafted in the 6th round by the Minnesota Vikings. This is a lot of people like this movie. 6'7", 245. I think he averaged around 580 yards a season, but he averaged around 10 touchdowns a year too. Big red zone target. Is it possible? You got Chris Manhertz, who was the third string. He's probably about to bump up to second if Olsen misses considerable time, like is expected. You're going to have Ed Dixon as your starter. Maybe Chris Manhertz. I think it's too early for Bucky Hodges to get into that conversation just because of learning the offense and the plays. So
you gotta have 3 tight ends. It's just that simple.
I think Ed Dixon's proven he can get open. Cam's just overthrown him 2 or 3
but
times.
You have to have 3 on the team.
Right.
Like you have to have 3 that are playing each week for special teams like roles. They use tight ends in like when they're doing field goals, when they're doing extra points.
You got 2
like
tight end
that.
sets. If one goes down, you have to be prepared.
You're going to be putting out their Ed Dixon every down now, right? You're going to be putting out Manhurts now 80% of the downs. You're going to need a 3rd tight end that can contribute. Gary Barnage. Gary Barnage.
Going to the Houston Texans. No, I don't know.
Come home, baby. Come home.
I think the Bucky Hodges pickup could be key now more than ever at a perfect time if Olsen has to miss considerable time, and it's unfortunate. You hate to see that. Even as he wasn't as involved these first 2 weeks as we expected him to be, as he has been in the past. But see, today he had 1 catch for 10 yards before his injury, and I mean, it's Newton has missed Dixon twice now, wide open for big plays. So I still feel like these kind of things will get worked out as he moves forward.
Sure.
And he's still going to miss receivers. I mean, quarterbacks miss receivers. That's going to happen.
Cam
misses receivers bad. At times he does.
When he misses them bad.
Right.
And it
correct.
makes it easy to make fun of him.
But I think Bucky Hodges, if he comes in and he does well, I'm still curious why Minnesota let him go so early as a rookie, as a 6th round pick. He was a popular guy going into the NFL draft for a late pick. They have Rudolph, but outside of that, who do they have?
I don't know.
That's my point.
But I don't watch them.
But we'll find out. That's something we're going to have to keep a watch on forward, and you can keep it glued here and at catchronicles.com for stuff moving forward on that. I'm going to try to look in the comments here for anything else we need to hit on that y'all thought about. How do you think we handled the loss of Olsen? I think we just kind of hit on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough. Gary Barnage, Gary Barnage.
Saints D is still so bad.
Yeah,
so
they're awful. We're going to be fine against the Saints. I was so pissed I didn't bet on the Patriots today. I was so going to bet money on them, and I just got scared because I lost some money yesterday.
Yep. So
lost some peanuts.
Well, I think that about does
all right.
it
Well, let's
this week.
get out of here. Look, my name's Tony Dunn.
Yep.
I do want to plug my podcast. You can check me out Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock live, CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Go on YouTube. We're live everywhere. We like to chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. It's called the C3 Carolina Panthers Podcast. We'd love to have you on Tuesday nights. We have a lot of fun.
iTunes, was it Stitcher
iTunes,
still?
Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, everywhere you get it.
Facebook Live, YouTube.
We crush it.
Live. They got it all. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know that's their main. I think that's their main spot for the podcast. You can find all their archives and everything in there. So definitely hit that up. And as also subscribe to the Panther Source, our Facebook Live. Yeah, Etch by B for he sponsors this. It's a big thing, so go check him out on Facebook.com. You can check out etchbyb.com. Talk to him. Get some product from him. He can do anything. I'm telling you, I've seen it all. I see the guy regularly. Talk to him. Get some stuff from him. Subscribe to us. Like, comment, share. Do all that stuff for both of them.
Share this show, guys. Right now, share the show. Look, I want to tell you this. If you're watching right now, call this. Put this number in your phone, 704-665-0489. Just put it in your phone and save it. Because, look, we all know we're crappy about phone numbers these days. So save it. Put it in as Panthers Source and call in and leave a message at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're going to be here. We will be here after every game. We're going to be here. We're going to be talking about it. We want to discuss it with y'all. That's why we do this show. We want to hear y'all's opinions because, I mean, I know the majority of y'all probably don't give a damn about ours. So just call in. We just want to discuss it. We want to talk about it, get your retrospect on things, and try to compare it with ours and see what's going on. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It makes football more fun.
And do the same thing for Cat Chronicles on Tuesday night. They do the same thing. You can call theirs. He has it on their Facebook page.
I won't put the number up tonight, but just go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com and look. All what we're just trying to do is build Panther Nation together.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly. And check out while we're giving out local shout outs, check out the Keep Pounding podcast. They do stuff. I think they do it on Saturdays. You can check out their stuff as well. But look, at the end of the day, The Panthers
2-0.
2-0.
2-0. You gotta be happy about
and we're
that.
We're gonna be at home next week playing a Saints defense that is
we're
bad.
Gonna be fine, folks. It's gonna be fine. The offense is gonna be. We're gonna put up 40 points before you know it.
Yep.
We'll be fine.
So, y'all take that with what it is. The Panthers are 2-0. Let's just live with that, and we'll see what we got moving forward. For PantherSource.com, I'm Trip Morgan. CarolinaCatChronicles.com's Tony Dunn.
Keep bounding, guys.
Thanks for joining us. See y'all soon.